Good evening, everyone. I like this movie. I like this game, but there's some things about it a lot of us may not know. So tonight, we're going on a journey below the waters. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre game, Iceberg. For reference, I'll be using this chart by Reddit user Hemlo86. All of my research was based off of my own experiences, looking at dev live streams, or look into the comments of this post. Before we begin, thank you all for watching. All victims canonically die. So you know how the survivor role in this game is labeled victim in the menus?
Well,
This is why.
Yeah, so, but yeah, no one survived. Sally's the first to leave the family house, which is why it's not there in the sequel.
That makes sense.
Yep, Sally's solely responsible for them going to the tunnels in part two.
For running.
By the time the original movie happens, our entire cast of victims were eaten by the Sawyers. Bugs. This entry could honestly be an entire video on itself. Danny and Hans. Danny was a controversial victim character that has since been nerfed, where his star sign power was that he could study interactables on the map, technological set pieces like radios and TVs, to fill up a circular bar to which he could then spend all of those knowledge points on an exit to tamper it, which then increases the amount of time that it takes for the family to turn it back on. Hans, however, is on the family side, and his power is Ripstall, a direct counter to Danny's ability, where even if Danny tampers, say, the pressure valve or fuse box, Hans can simply run up to it, jam his hammer in, and rip it out, completely ignoring the tampering. Rushing. Rushing is a popular playstyle by experienced players, where you play while ignoring the amount of noise you make, and wearing the red noise ring like a trophy. The idea behind this playstyle is that you get out of the basement and to an exterior gate before the family could trap it. Cosmetics. These can be outfits for both, and for family you can get different weapon looks. With Leatherface, you could make his saw rusty for some additional tinnitus. You could change the cook's broken broom handle to a big pencil. Meanwhile, for victims, you could give Leland a snazzy leather jacket, or dress Danny up in some tie-dye. Nugget. Nugget was the given nickname to the chicken alarms layered across the map the family can use. This name was later adopted by the devs for the canonical name for the chicken. The Muerto Times. The Muerto Times can be considered a community check-in. It can also include patch notes, upcoming plans from the devs, and they're told in like a really cutesy newspaper format, which I find quite charming. Museum mode. While the game feels like a big love letter to the original 1974 movie, museum mode is like the cutesy red lipstick kiss mark on the paper. Taking place at the family house, this mode has a plethora of trivia and some puzzles for you to do. Maria Flores. Originally in the story, Maria was kidnapped and killed by Johnny. Eventually, they did bring Maria back in the Virginia and Hans trailer. When she released, Maria's attribute points were a carbon copy of Anna's, which is charming from the idea that they're siblings, but kind of takes away from her identity. Stay tuned. This is a phrase you hear a lot from the devs on the community's platforms. When asked about patch notes or upcoming ideas, a lot of the times they just simply say, "Stay tuned." Now this is made fun of a lot for the idea that they don't know what they're doing. Map variants. Every map in this game has a base form, typically taking place during the day. But as of late, maps like Gas Station Slaughterhouse have received nighttime and storm variants. Nancy's house as well, with a nighttime introduction. Rush Week. A second game mode that was heavily inspired by 70s Galileo horror flicks, which feels significantly more casual from my experiences. What makes this mode different is who's involved. Johnny and 6 victim players. Steam player chart. Texas Chainsaw Massacre Steam player chart isn't... It's seen better days. Unused cosmetics in match intro. You know that opening cutscene you get on either team? Well, sometimes the victim who gets killed in that opening sequence wears a cosmetic that hasn't been released yet. Meta perks. Ooh, everyone's talking meta this, meta that. Yo, have you ever met a girl before? Stealth is useless. You know in the customizations tab when you read the description for stealth that says, stealth influences the victim's ability to perform various actions silently as determined by the noise meter. It sounds good on paper, but in practice, you can just put all your points into proficiency for the bar to fill up quicker. Execution packs. These are released several months apart, and in these packs are different equipable moves you can do as the family member for when you catch a victim. Nicotero Leatherface. The Nicotero Leatherface skin was named after its guest designer, Greg Nicotero. Chances are you've seen his makeup work before on The Walking Dead, Diary of the Dead, Transformers, The Grey, The Mist, Gingerbread 2, Passion of the Crust. The saw accompanying the skin is an old 1950s David Bradley 917 Nugget plushies. A little over a year ago, the devs that were leaving the team were gifted these as a farewell gift. Not much else to say here. Devil's River. We've heard mentions of Devil's River 1 over the radio.
The remains of an unidentified male have been discovered near Devil's River off Highway 163 in southwest Texas. A Cedar Canyon resident stumbled upon the scene while hunting early yesterday morning. Authorities have confirmed this is approximately the same location where 2 females were discovered last June. All of the victims appear to have been stabbed and strangled to death. Although the cases have similarities, investigators have nothing more to share at this time.
Second time, spoken by Nancy.
You ever been down to Devil's River? Oh, it's real nice. Maybe I'll show it to you.
And now, The Mill, a property of the family's that's in Devil's River. Leatherface door stun. Originally, when slamming a door on Leatherface, he would completely fall over for a good couple seconds before getting up. This was up until about a year ago, where now if you slam a door on him, he'll only briefly stumble for about a second. This change made playing Leatherface against more aggressive victims significantly easier. Grandpa cutscene. Like the previous entry, this was a very popular fix from about a year ago, where originally Grandpa would have a camera in front of him when he woke up so that everyone could see him waking from his nap. However, this was changed to a simple banner because the cutscene wouldn't stop Leatherface's chainsaw from revving. You would stall out, ruining a chase. Otherworldly abilities. The developers have said that the mechanics are based in reality. Meanwhile, we have abilities like Nancy's Seek and Grandpa's Highlight. People have complained the hypocrisy, but this is okay. Gabe Newell put it best.
Where you'd be sitting in a design review and somebody say that's not realistic, and you're like, okay, what does that have to, like, explain to me why that's interesting, because in the real world I have to write up lists of stuff I have to go to the grocery store to buy, and I've never thought to myself that realism is fun. I go play games to have fun, and so we had to come up with some notion of what fun was. We knew it was an ad hoc definition, and it was
Black Tower Studios. Black Tower Studios is the development team right now for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre after the original Suno Nottingham left over a year ago. These guys also worked on Friday the 13th, the game, after Ilphonic left. Jesse. Jesse was Virginia's son who went missing, and while she was looking for him, she got captured by the Sawyers. It's not explicitly stated that Jesse was eaten by the Sawyers or not. Technical test. The technical test was a free-to-play in-development build of the game back in May 25th, 2023, and the point here was to stress test the game's servers with the amount of players and overall stability with recommended hardware specifications at the time. I recommend watching Otstarva's video on this for a different look at the game from a different time. Nancy's Secret Room.
Just in case you was thinking of doing so, I'd stay out of my secret room if I was you. It didn't have to be this.
It's only mentioned, and unfortunately, we don't find it anywhere on the map. Blackout Cosmetics. Released on August 25th, 2024, the Blackout Cosmetics are the max level rewards you get, which are all black outfits for your characters. TCM really got max prestige rewards before Dead by Daylight did. Leatherface requirement. A little over a year ago, originally the family had to have Leatherface before the match could begin. This was later changed as not everyone liked playing him. Grandpa Execution. This is a scrap mechanic where the family could have brought a victim to Grandpa for a special harvesting interaction. It is unknown what this mechanic could have been used for. Edwin Neal. Edwin Neal was the actor for the hitchhiker in the original 1974 film.
I was at the slaughterhouse. I got an uncle that works at the slaughterhouse. Hey, my brother worked there. My grandfather too.
And he reprised his role to do the hitchhiker again for the game.
Grandpa thinks I'm the best. The best! Well, I'm sick of eating scraps.
He's older now, but he's still got that infliction down. Museum Mode fact-checked by Kim Henkel. When developing Museum Mode, the developers made sure to consult Kim Henkel for the true and falses for the trivia involved. Kim Henkel was the writer for the original 1974 Texas Chainsaw film. Remains. Written by Wes Keltner and Jim Booney, Remains is a companion album to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game. The album is about telling the story for the town that leads up to the events of the original movie. The tracks are also available on a stereo in Museum Mode. The devs hate Julie. This is a joke in the community because in Museum Mode, Julie is the only one getting battered. Granger Hill. Granger Hill is where Rush Week takes place. There is also a Bones voice line that sure makes him sound like he encouraged Johnny to go do Rush Week.
Listen, if shit goes haywire, I know a place up near Granger. It's secluded, but you gotta start being careful. You gotta...
Spotify playlists. A year ago, the developers made Spotify playlists, curated with music that the victims would have listened to. There's some genuine bangers in there. Instant Grapple Kill. A long time ago, originally, when you got into a close encounter with a family member, any family member interrupting with a swing will immediately put you into their execution. This was later changed for balance reasons because a lot of people felt this was unfair. Nancy and Cook photograph. In the Danny and Nancy trailer, this is shown to us to demonstrate that they're related. Though it's not explicitly stated their relation. Loading screen tips outdated. This game has seen quite a few patches and changes to mechanics, though what hasn't changed are some of the loading screen tips. Specifically the one where it mentions intervening a close encounter for an easy kill. You can't do that anymore. Chop Top. Despite an overwhelming majority of the community wanting Chop Top from TCM2 in the game, due to licensing issues and the developers only having rights to the first movie, we couldn't get him in, although we did get Bill Moseley to play Bones instead. Scout Taylor Compton. Scout Taylor Compton is the voice actor for Julie. While she originally auditioned for Connie, The devs liked her performance more as Julie. She also played Laurie Strode in Rob Zombie's Halloween 50th Anniversary 4K Blu-ray controversy. On the 50th anniversary of the original movie, there was a steelbook along with collectibles sold that were widely disliked because the things involved in it were stuff you probably already had, like the trading cards, DLCs, and probably the movie itself. Hair physics. You'd think with the amount of moving you do in this game, your hair would be flopping around a lot, right? That doesn't happen here. Everyone's hair stays static. Not much else to say here. TCM2 Cook. There is a nod to the cook's outfit in TCM2 on Nancy's house, where you can find his hat. Bugged valve on Family House. 2 years ago, there was a glitch on all of the maps where the family can immediately turn off the valve by simply pressing the button once and it would immediately shut off. Thankfully, this has been patched long ago. And huge thank you to the original Iceberg creator for lending insight into this old bug. Apprehension engine. Again, big thank you to the original Iceberg creator for letting me know that an apprehension engine is a unique instrument. Wes Keltner had one custom built to be used for the soundtrack for the game. Iron Butterfly. Iron Butterfly was a late 60s rock band. Bones mentions them.
Been into Iron Butterfly since they was 10 Caterpillar. You're in a Vita da Gata, baby. It's heavy. It's go time.
I Love Hitchhiker. A now banned notorious cheater who we haven't seen in over 3 months. Hans is selectively mute. All of Hans's voice lines are more or less grunts. There is one particular angry grunt that sounds like he's saying one word though. Manson family. Led by Charles Manson, the Manson family was a very real cult, and Sissy sings a song written by the Manson family, Look at Your Love.
Oh, love, my love, look at your love. Oh, love, my love, look at your love.
Radio broadcasts. The radio broadcasts you hear in the opening cutscene of a main game match are alluding to the crimes the family have committed. For example, take this one for Johnny.
An unidentified man entered the home in the middle of the night, viciously strangling one female to death before attempting to stab both roommates who were sleeping nearby. Authorities believe the attacker fled the scene after discovering multiple people lived in the house. The man is believed to be in his late 20s, has dark hair and brown eyes, and has several scars on his face and arms. Police are urging anyone with information to please come forward.
Maria's camera. Based off of a real old Polaroid Land Model 230, the hitchhiker in the original movie uses Maria's stolen camera to take the photo of Franklin. Ross Tregenza. Ross Tregenza, along with sometimes Wes Keltner, composed the soundtrack for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game. Everything from the main menu to the old slaughterhouse to just about every track. Though after Sumo Nottingham leaving development, Ross will no longer be composing music for the game. Victim campsite. As others in here have said, they encounter the cook at the gas station, but it's getting late. He tells them of a good spot for them to camp and get some rest. They get ambushed in the middle of the night and taken captive. This is the camp that you see in the film briefly. Now, he neglected to mention that this was a deleted scene and sent me on a wild goose chase. Fangoria Chainsaw Reward. The Fangoria Chainsaw Awards is an awards ceremony focused on horror and thriller films. As time went on, the scope for the awards changed, and on October 14th, 2024, this game won one. Connie is bi.
Yes,
Actually,
I see it all the time.
she likes a girl. There's a girl in her high school that she really likes, and
Go Connie.
she did, and she had to leave her behind. That was her girlfriend didn't get to come. So Connie had to choose. Stay behind, like a lot of people do after high school. Do you stay behind for your high school sweetheart and derail your life? Or do you leave them? And that's Connie's story, but she's been trying to get out of this forever. And, you know, she had another guy she was interested in too, but she just became friends with this girl, and it grew into more than that. And they just
she
did
fell
each
in love
other.
with this girl?
She did.
Yeah.
And then she had to make the decision to leave her. So once again, all of our characters have to do something. There's
And I like this detail. It helps ground the characters in reality. June.
we made to put in the game to see how it looked, and then we delete them. So Sonny's girlfriend never got deleted, but what I didn't get to do was create concept art because it wasn't a main character.
Right.
So a lot of these relationships are things that I know that I never got around to making concept art for because they were never going to be playable. They're not in the game, and it's just lore based. So unfortunately, I don't have this of her.
Okay.
But you know, her name's June.
I was just gonna say, does she have a name?
She does. It's June. And what's funny is I never.
Like the previous entry, this tidbit of lore is a part of Sunny. While she's not present in the game, she's a big part for the character. Unused ChainSaw cosmetics. In the game, there is a render sheet by a developer, and on that render sheet are different skins for the chainsaws. Some of these we've gotten in DLC packs, while others aren't here yet. Leatherface and Maria candles. These two are candle merchandises from the game's online store. Thematically, these scents are designed after what the characters are about. TCM on loop in gun headquarters. Big thank you to Iceberg creator Hamlo86 for letting me in on this one. Wes said in an interview that when developing the game, they had the original movie on multiple TVs, monitors in the office. Kim's Story Bible. Kim Henkel, the writer of the original 1974 film, works with the developers in sharing his character Bible to help develop new characters. This is where Hans, Sissy, Johnny, and Nancy come from. Family Recipe Dry Rub. Like the candles, this is merch on the game's online store, where here the dry rub's idea is what Hitchhiker, Leatherface, and Cook would prefer on their choice of meat. A Nightmare on Elm Street reference. This is unconfirmed by the devs, but it's widely believed that that Leland's summertime outfit is a reference to Glenn from Nightmare on Elm Street's outfit. Thank you to Iceberg creator Hamlo86. Grandpa and Grandma photograph. It's the Hans reveal trailer that we see this. It's a visual tell to us that Maria looks like Grandma to Grandpa, so he listens to her word. Additionally, this is the only time we see the two in their younger form, and in the background we can see the family house, implying Grandpa either built the place or bought it initially. McNamara. Hans, in his character bio, says he's a distant cousin to the family, which is typically anything on or after third cousin. As such, he's McNamara, not Sawyer. Hitchhiker makes an acknowledgement of this in a voice line.
You're a big old boy, ain't you? You McNamaras are something else.
Sissy's knife. Sissy's preferred straight razor is seen in the original movie. The hitchhiker keeps it in his shoe. But otherwise, she's completely absent from the film. We learned about this in museum mode when inspecting the family's weapons. TCM the game, ARG. This was an advertising campaign on Instagram, where the account here posted photos that Maria took through her point of view. It accounted her encounters with Johnny in the wilderness. The account is still up to this day, so you're more than welcome to come here and check it out. Pedals. Free on itch.io, this is a short game or a prequel to the events of the main game. It follows Maria taking photos the day she went missing until she encountered the family. Bones is from the future. There is a voice line where Bones sings the opening to Bad to the Bone.
Bad to the bone! Bad for your bones! Come on!
However, this song was released in 1982, and this game takes place early 1974. I'm pretty sure this is just a reference oversight. Definitive Final Girl. The advertising they pushed when they announced that Maria Flores was going to be a playable character, they specifically used the definitive Final Girl phrase for her. Up until then, we believed Anna was the final girl. Johnny V.A. Cracker Barrel. In a comment by the original Iceberg creator, they tell us the deal to cast Damien as the voice actor was struck over a dinner at a Cracker Barrel. Strength is bugged on crawl spaces. No matter which victim character you play, no matter how many points you put into your strength, whether you're Leland or Connie, opening a crawl space will always take 5 taps. This applies to everyone. Despite what the strength attribute says, that a higher strength will decrease the amount of taps required. Zodiac signs. In this article put up by the developers, we're directly told their star signs. Sunny is an Aquarius, Leland is a Taurus, Julia is an Aries, Johnny is a Virgo. But the original 3 are a mystery. We don't know theirs. Maria's satchel. 2 years ago, Slashincast proposed this theory.
Flores. I always thought it was interesting that in her description, they pointed out that she was last seen with the brown satchel. That seemed like a very specific detail for the character, but I didn't put together why it was there until now, since if we go back to the key art again, you'll see that the hitchhiker is wearing a brown satchel. The same brown satchel that is seen in the original movie.
He then made a point about the hitchhiker having camera, so why not take the satchel too? But looking at the thing, I don't agree with this one. The satchel looks to be made out of hide, and Maria doesn't seem like the kind of person to wear something that looks so scruffy. Nancy hitting on Bones. When you have Nancy and Bones in the same match, Nancy speaks uncharacteristically sensually to him.
You help me and my boy clean this mess up, I'll make it up to you. Promise. You've always been good to me, so if you ever need a place to lay low, my door's always open.
Fast trap lamps. This is a trick you can do on your keyboard if you're playing on PC. Unfortunately, I'm on console, so I can't do this, nor do I know how to do this. As its name implies, if you do it right, you could trap a lamp immediately. October 17th, 2024. This date had a very controversial community check-in stream, because here the developers confirmed that Chop Top will never be coming to the game due to licensing issues.
So even before the game came out, we were trying to secure those rights, and that also includes Chop Top. We could not get those people to the table.
There will be no level cap increases.
I had to make the decision to say we just can't. We can't do it.
I mean, at least they're being upfront.
Yeah, and honestly, we've been working on some really cool stuff.
There will be no unlockables or in-game currency, which I'm pretty sure they're only doing so that they can make more money with DLCs. And yeah, overall, this whole stream was disappointing for the community. Terror of I-40. Do you remember that Raider Reports entry from a while ago about Johnny? Well, Sissy has one of her own about her journey from California back to Texas after leaving the Manson family.
Known only as the Terror of I-40, authorities say an unidentified woman spent years hitchhiking from Texas to California, where she viciously murdered several truck drivers and 3 other young women along the route.
Rush Week Fuse Box. In Rush Week, When victims finish repairing the fuse box, you as Johnny can turn it off, but ultimately, nothing happens. The victims can still call the police. And as above, so below. Thank you to everyone who stuck around, and big round of applause for original Iceberg creator. They're credited in the description, and without them, this video would not have been possible. Speaking of which, this video is way different than what I usually do on this show. So I hope you all enjoyed watching this as I did making it. And if I'm wrong about something on this chart, or wished I covered a topic not in here, let me know. I really like reading your comments. And as always, I'll see you all next time. Bye everyone.